All right, welcome. Sorry we are late today. Michelle is having some technical difficulties, and hopefully that gets fixed. Because I think, Michelle, your computer's been having some issues within the last 6 months or so, on and off, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, it was working. It's been working. I think sometimes when I unplug the monitor, the camera is off. I don't know.
All right. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. We are starting our new season of the podcast. So this is season 3. Welcome to season 3, year 3 that we're doing a podcast. Sorry if you haven't heard from us in the last couple weeks, but we decided to take some much needed time off during the last couple weeks of 2020. I'm sure you guys, if you're listening to us right now, I'm sure you can relate with how maybe that was much needed. So how's it going, Noel? Happy, what's today? Is today Tuesday? Happy Tuesday, because we used to start lives on Mondays. So we do stream live on YouTube, but we also upload our streams to our podcast. So this is essentially just our podcast. Yeah, we have an opportunity to join us live. And here's our new schedule. Are you ready for it? So our new schedule, it used to be that we would meet daily, Monday through Friday. We changed the schedule. We're going to deliver the same content, right? So Monday we would do weekly sales. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, we would have like a topic about reselling. And then Thursday we do bolo, Friday we do fun facts. So we're actually going to be doing weekly sales today, bolo today, fun facts today, and we're going to talk about what's trending in sales in January, right? In Q1, we're in Q1 now. So we have a jam-packed podcast or live to go over with you guys today. Very excited about that. And then we will be resting on Wednesday. We'll come back on Thursday. And on Thursday, we actually will be interviewing a reseller this week. So I'm extremely excited about this. So we're going to aim for that kind of new strategy in our podcast this year in 2021. And, part of the reason is because, Michelle and I have been working on our business, and we're growing, and we need more time to spend on the business. And believe it or not, it actually takes, time to prepare these lives. So that's the reason we have to scale back a little bit. But the cool thing also about this is that we're going to be going on Instagram, doing sporadic lives more often, because we totally left Instagram completely. So we'll be making a comeback there. So if you want to catch us more, make sure you're following us on Instagram. We're Flipping Gals on Instagram with a 1G. So guess who's back? Bill, Girly Girl Style Hubs. It's fantastic to see you. It's been a long, long time. We have missed you so much.
Happy New Year.
Again, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. Again, it's one of those things, right? When you need a break, take a break, right? It's important. And so we want to say hello to Duncan. Duncan, Happy New Year to you and your family. I love your new picture you got there. He's like, I am here, capital letters, and GSO. She says, wash hands. All right. So if this is your first time here, my name is Marina.
My name is Michelle.
Michelle's freezing up there a little. And, we started reselling. We're into our 3rd year now, and we have learned so much from just even, do you feel the growth, Michelle, just from last year?
Yeah.
I went sourcing today for the first time this year, and for the first time since the pandemic started in March or April. And honestly, it was such a different experience. I went in the thrift store and I knew exactly what to look for. I wasn't wasting time. I remember, Michelle, when we used to go, we'd be looking through every single item and it would take forever. That's so not necessary anymore, because now we know what we like to sell. So Duncan said, I was eating pizza. Happy New Year. Yum. What kind of pizza, Duncan? Pizza is my favorite food.
Yeah.
And Duncan said here, who is the one who came to my area 5 years ago? That would be Michelle.
Lane Cove. Love Lane Cove.
Duncan is actually from Australia, right? He's in Australia right now, Sydney, Australia. So hello to the world down under. All right. So, shall we get started, Michelle?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
First live.
First live, first podcast of 2021, season 3. We're going to go over sales of last week. We're going to throw in a couple of bolos for you guys. So, we want you guys to look for these bolos this week when you're sourcing. We'll get into those in a minute. And then we're going to end with some trends in January. And look, oh, we have Doug said, I always eat the same pizza. He's going to send us a picture.
Oh, cool.
I always eat the same pizza too. We have Rich. Welcome, Rich. We have
Hi,
missed
Rich.
you
Happy
also.
New Year.
It's been a couple weeks. And Rich said, Marina, if you want pizza, the best pizza, it's in New York. I cannot disagree with the statement. I have to agree with you, Rich. Michelle and I had some amazing pizza when we're in New York. What was that, like a couple years ago?
Yeah, we went to this place in Brooklyn Heights, and they had bomb pizza there.
It was amazing. Cannot wait to go back to New York to eat a lot of pizza. She also said Australia is beautiful.
Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Sydney, I almost moved there. No joke. Like I would consider moving there. It's just like Los Angeles, but smaller. Like everything's more closer together instead of very spread out. I really like it.
That's cool. I appreciate that. It's kind of like, Seattle. I really enjoy Seattle, Washington. And it's small, but I just love the culture there. It's just so awesome.
So for the sales recap today, we're going to go over some numbers. Our formatting has changed a little bit. We're not going to go over every single item that we sold, but we will go over some of our favorite items. So hopefully, this would be an interesting live that's more consolidated. So Marina, would you want to take us through how we did last week?
Sure. Michelle, I just wanted to say, I looked at your deck and you did a really, really nice job. So thanks so much for putting this together. Absolutely love it. It's perfect. All right. So the recap, the platforms that we sold on this last week was eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, and Etsy. Now today's January 5th, right? Tuesday, January 5th. So this includes a little bit of 2021 in it. eBay, we did, this is profit or gross or revenue?
Profit.
Okay, the profits on eBay are $127. Mercari was $23. Poshmark was $134. Etsy was $720. And that's it. We didn't sell on OfferUp.
Nope.
Okay, so that's fine. So we had those 4 platforms. And this Etsy is only one store, or does it include our second store as well?
It's just one store.
Just the one store. Okay. So yeah, we may start including the second store in there.
Sure.
Our profits are small because we donate half of them actually to a cause that we support. And so yeah, we're going to start including those so you guys can see what those look like. Also, so basically total gross was $1,401.87 and our total profit was $1,005.28. Now, that's not bad, but we do have new goals, new year, new goals. And so our new goal, which we're going to have to work really hard at, is to reach 2,000 in profit. And so why is that? Well, we want to start saving some of our profits. We've been reinvesting a lot of it and in the business, and we actually want to start putting some money aside in business savings so that we can invest that money in a different business that, again, because it's Michelle and I, we work, we have day jobs, so we need to figure out how to maximize our time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're working on. So hope everyone's had a wonderful new year and happy holidays. So a couple of comments that I did want to get into here, where Bill says, I was in Perth for a couple of weeks in the 90s. Wow. So was that 90 degrees? Oh my goodness. Especially from like the weather in, that I've seen.
It's the 90s, 1990s now.
Oh. Oh, wait, that's Australia. Sorry. See what happens when you don't know the context. Rich says they're saying the 1920s are going to be our way of living after the pandemic. We might want to start sourcing things from that era.
Ooh,
Ooh, we love
Rich.
that era.
Good insight, Rich. Yeah. Why not?
But
I
I,
love it.
but I want to understand why, who's saying that, and why. I don't understand. I don't understand. I want to know more, Rich. Tell me more. Duncan's pointing out that our Etsy amazing sales are good. Thank you, Duncan. We appreciate that. And Duncan has a new target total profit of 2,500 a week. Thanks for sharing, Duncan. If you guys want to share your total profit, weekly profits in the chat, we could be your accountability partners.
Mhm. It's great.
Yeah.
2,500.
And Duncan's also saying, how can you earn enough so at least one of you can quit your day job?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
That's our goal, Duncan.
Duncan always takes us like 10 levels way ahead of where we are ourselves. So,
All
all
right.
right, Michelle.
So I picked out a couple of our favorite items, and I think these are some of your favorite items too. I'll go over the first one, and then you can take over from there. So I absolutely love vintage newspaper, vintage magazines. These Life magazines are so cool, especially because I'm into advertising. And just that when you like flip through them and look at the advertisements, they're just amazing. Everything, some of them are hand drawn, because back then they didn't have computer. So this is a Paul McCartney Life magazine from 1969, and it's a black and white photo of him and his family. And this came from a big bundle of magazines. So our cost was $1, and we sold it for 17.81. And our favorite items not necessarily is based on price. It's really based on what we think of the item.
100%. Yeah. I love vintage media. Especially, I mean, it's just history. Love historical items. So that's a favorite of mine as well. All right. So this next one here is pretty cool. It's Garfield mugs. Now, Garfield, I remember when I was a little girl, I was like 5, 6 years old, right? Just started reading. And I used to get really excited on Sundays. My dad used to take out the Sunday comics and I used to read them. And that was like how I would start my day as a kid. And I looked forward to it all week long. And Garfield was one of my favorite cartoons to read. So, yeah, this is definitely going to be a favorite. Super nostalgic. On top of it, they're not just Garfield mugs with like cute pictures of Garfield. He's laying on a hammock and Garfield's like a lazy orange cat, right? Who's like super sarcastic. And then he says, it's not a pretty life, but somebody has to live it, right? Laying on the hammock. I wouldn't mind living that life. And then, this was a McDonald's actually item. So these mugs were available for purchase at McDonald's. I wish McDonald's did stuff like that again. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like they
mean,
don't do that.
I'm sure the material would cost a lot more than what they make nowadays for Happy Meal. So yeah, these are really cool, and they're actually from 1978.
Oh, they're actually from the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So our cost on these was $3 and they sold for 35.10. We picked these up at an estate sale.
Yep. All right. This next one is a Pound Puppy plush toy. We again got this from a stash, a big giant lot of plush toys. So it was sourced for $1 and sold for $30. Now I didn't grow up playing with Pound Puppies. Marina, did you?
I didn't, but there's a reseller on Instagram. Her name is Jen. She's awesome. Give her a follow. Her Instagram account name is Double Play Thrift, and she messaged and said that she used to play with them. So that's really cool. Yeah.
Aw.
So Garfield said that. Duncan. Sorry, Duncan. Duncan said Garfield could run his eBay store on that hammock. He probably could.
All right, you're next.
All right. I'm loving what Rich is saying. I feel like I want to just quickly say it. because it's very
Go ahead.
interesting. He said that he just saw two new segments today that men will start wearing tuxedos and businesses will be redesigning their establishments to fit the era of the 1920s. And he says that the reason for us going back to the 20s era is due to us reinvesting ourselves and living the simple life again. That would be so cool, Rich. If we could just like decorate our home in the 1920s era and dress like that, we would be so happy.
Rich, that's a really cool insight.
Really cool insight.
I wonder if that's gonna happen.
All right, Michelle, you want to talk about this one here?
You're next.
Okay. All right. So the next one here, our another favorite sale that we had. This is a vintage Wagner Ware Sydney Magnolite 4648M. So these are aluminum pots and they're collectibles. And there was so I'm a teacher, that's my day job, but there's another teacher who was getting rid of her set and I picked them up. So we paid $8 for this, and we sold it at $168. These are bolos, by the way. If you can find the Magnolite brand Wagner Ware vintage, again, fellow resellers by the name of Hustlin' Hooks, they told us about this, and thanks to them, we were able to find them, and we got a good little flip going there.
Yeah, and this pot actually came in a lot. And what happened was the buyer messaged us and be like, "Are you willing to sell just this one?" Because she accidentally broke her friend's pot. So that was really nice of her, and you know we actually created a listing for her. So that was really cool. I can't see your face, Marina, so I don't know what's going on. Just so you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no need to see my face. You see
Okay.
it every day, so
Alrighty. All right. So we're gonna talk about some bolo items. We got inspired. Well, Marina got inspired by one of the, I think, Instagram follower, and we got inspired from going to an estate sale, and we found this crystal brand that we want to share with you guys.
yeah, so the bowl of the week is going to be two crystal brands. And Duncan says if you're not sure what a bolo means, it's buy one, leave one. but, but, but the real meaning of the bolo is be on the lookout, right? Again, we're going to discuss two crystal brands that can bring you in a good amount of money. Our goal is always to get about $100 in profit for each item, at least, or so on average. So these items will get you there. So when you're thrifting, please go to the section where you might find these crystals and pick them up. That's going to be your week's mission this week.
Yeah, so we're gonna go over two brands. One is called Lalique. It is a French brand, and the second one is called Swarovski. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this brand. I grew up, with my family collecting them. We actually had like a wall case full of Swarovski. I don't know where they went, but I remember playing with them as a kid. So this is an Austrian brand. So, just a little bit of like fun fact about Lalique. Actually, it was founded by this man named Rene Lalique in 1888. So that was a long time ago. He was known for producing glass art, including perfume, bottles, vases, and hood ornaments during the early 20th century. So he basically transitioned producing lead glass crystal work during the 1950s, and his son took over. So since 2010, Lalique has been owned by a Swiss company, Art and Fragrance. So that's interesting. I don't know anything about this brand. I just know when you look at it, it's almost like an art piece that you see at a museum.
Yeah, and actually Lalique is a French company, as Michelle said. I had a friend that used to work there, and it's like a high end. They do crystals, but they also do like perfumes. Now their perfumes are going to be in really beautiful crystal bottles. They're in collectible, and they also have china and everything that they have. Whether it's glass or it's mostly glass. Like they also have like what do you call, like, not statues, but the smaller ones that you can use for decoration, bowls or just, decor, and it's very expensive. It's very high end.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So we're gonna share a couple of bolo items. So when we did our research, we actually saw a bunch of these ones, and they're very, very, very expensive. If I recall, I remember my family had one that looked very similar to this. So this is called Marina. You know French. How do you pronounce that?
It says Lily Crystal Bachant's large crystal vase. Michelle, you forgot to describe the item. It's a vase, right? It's a crystal vase, and it's surrounded with a bunch of naked women. So
Yes.
for those who cannot hear, for those who are listening on the podcast and cannot see the pictures, that's what's depicted on that picture there. It's in pre-owned condition. It's sold for $3,300 on eBay with $50 in shipping. They're going to be heavy. It sold December 19th, so it's probably a gift for Christmas. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous though. It is a beautiful piece. I could see why it's worth $3,300.
Yeah, again, I mean, you can't buy these because these are, art pieces that were made a long time ago, so no one's going to remake these. So that's why they're valuable.
Correct. Yes.
All right, here's another one. Lalique Swan head down there. So there are two swans. One has her head leaning forward, and then there's another swan standing up. I would say, I don't know how you describe it. And this pair was sold for 4,200. Crazy. They don't look that big, but I guess they're very, very valuable.
Yeah, I guess they are for the collector, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this one here is a signed Lalique Bamara seated lion. So we actually, like Michelle mentioned, we picked up a Lalique crystal last week when we went sourcing. Ours was about $400. And at the bottom, Michelle, I don't know if you noticed, but the bottom of our vase that we picked up is also signed. So yeah, so that's something that you want to include in the listing title. I noticed that some of them will be signed at the bottom, which is kind of cool. And I think it's valuable. So this lion here, it's a Bamara seated lion, frosted crystal glass sculpture. It's almost 8 inches in height, and it went for $745 plus $40 in shipping.
Yeah, and we want to include these in the bolos is, if you guys go to estate sale or sometimes even Goodwill, you never know. You may find these. And what happened when we went to an estate sale last week, and there were like a bunch of vases and bowls and just random home decor items. And so the Lalique that we found was basically hidden within many, many vases. And if you know the brand, this is really a bolo. So we were very lucky we picked it up.
100%. Yeah. And that's a good tip for just going to estate sales in general is find those hidden gems. They're there. The treasures are there.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
But there's a really good question from Duncan. He said, how do you ship a Lalique vase without breaking it?
Oh my God,
So,
Duncan, we just bubble wrap the crap out of everything. Yeah,
and double box it. Bubble wrap and double box it.
double box bubble wrap. Yes.
Good question.
Cool.
Yeah, so the next one here is Swarovski. Now, Swarovski is an Austrian producer of glass, headquartered in Wattens, Austria. It has existed as a family-owned business since 1895. It was founded by Daniel Swarovski. Today, Swarovski Crystal Business is one of the highest grossing business units within Swarovski. Swarovski. That's really hard for me to say. And so they do have different, areas in their business, but the crystal business is the highest grossing. That's why we're talking about it. That's why it's a bolo. So with a global reach of approximately 3,000 stores in roughly 170 countries, more than 29,000 employees, and a revenue of 2.7 billion euros in 2018. So that's a lot for crystal. Isn't crystal
Yeah.
just glass at the end of the day?
It, it's quite interesting because Lully came in 1888, so about, almost 10 years later, Swarovski started the business. So I see a little bit of connection there.
100%. Yeah, competition there, right?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I did want to mention this comment from Rich. He said now would be the time to bolo for perfume bottles from the 1920s. 100%. Yes. Let's look into the 1920s is considered an antique. Well,
Um,
almost an antique, right?
it is an antique.
Almost.
100 years. It is an antique.
Okay, so the next one here is a Swarovski crystal. It's a giant turtle. This one came with a case and a box, and it sold for $2,000 on eBay and $130 in shipping.
Yes. Here is the next one. So, from our research, we found out that any Disney related Swarovski crystal is worth money. So, if you do go to an estate sale, let's say there was 100 crystal, Swarovski crystal, look for the Disney ones, they're worth more money. And so, this is an Elsa figurine from Frozen, mint in box. This was sold for $905. It's
So
gorgeous.
I have a question, Michelle. How do you know it's a Swarovski crystal? Does it say the name on the crystal?
Yeah, so when you look at the bottom, their logo is a swan. So when you look at the bottom or somewhere on the crystal, there's a little bit of a like a printed logo on there of a swan. That's how
Oh,
you.
excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then how about for Lalique?
Lalique, there's also a logo. So there are two spots. For our vase, it's inside. There's a sticker. They usually include a sticker that's gray and silver with their logo on it. And then on the bottom would have an engraved signed word that says Lalique.
Exactly. Yep. Thank you so much.
Good question.
All right, so the next one here is a toucan. This is black. It's called the Black Diamond Toucan Bird Figurine. The crystal is not clear. It's actually black and yellow and red and white. And this one sold for $825 with $30 shipping.
Yes. So be on the lookout for those crystals.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for those crystals, but take it a step above. And when you are thrifting this week, please check the crystals, the vases, and look for Lalique and Swarovski. And if you find some, please message us on Instagram and let us know. We're going to be so happy for you.
Cool. So now we're gonna talk about some trends. Not necessarily January, but I would say Q1.
Q1.
Yeah. So what we've done is we basically gathered some data from Etsy, and Etsy, Etsy also they actually bought out a SEO company in the past. So I really trust how they do their research and what in terms of like finding what people are looking for. So this is sort of a general overview of what people look for in 2020. It's super informative. So in January, February, people are looking for stuff to get organized, winter items, and then March and April, a lot of people look for a mask. That's very, very, it makes sense because of COVID. And they were looking for items to stay entertained. And then May, June, a lot of people look for like stuff related to Black Lives Matter, home decor items, July, August, wedding season, work from home related items. September, October, they're looking for anything that seeks comfort, so pet stuff. And then holiday stuff. And then November, December, they go into personalized gifts for the holiday.
Yeah, I mean, these are interesting trends from last year, but they can give you insight onto what to look for this year. So let's kind of backtrack, go a little slower on that one.
Yeah.
Uh, and since we're in January, what we're selling on Etsy, this is just one platform, right? And Etsy, you usually sell things that are handcrafted, vintage, or like drop shipping, right? Print on demand. So, what are people, let's use this as a guide. What are people looking for right now? Well, on Etsy, people are looking to get organized. So January is a big time of organization. When I went thrifting today, people were at the thrift stores trying to donate a lot of things, and they weren't taking items. Still. They're still not taking items. They're just inundated with so much. So again, if you're looking for a way to make money and you don't have a lot of money to invest in your business, put an ad to pick up free items from people because there's still that need right now. So hanging shelves, storage baskets, planners, calendars. Also, yeah, so I think that's it for January. Back to school items. School is starting.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's some things there. Now the pandemic also, and the pandemic is not over. So it inspired a lot of creativity to come back. People have time to focus on their hobbies, right? So that's why I think platforms like Etsy and, you know, giant game companies, video games are doing really, really well. People have time to play video games.
Hmm.
Even if you want to, get vintage video games or old video games, those are doing really, really well. So those are things you can plan that are going to sell throughout the year. Um, it's still cold. Jackets are still viable now. It's going to start warming up in a couple of months, but it's still cold now. Um, Michelle, would you mind putting the okay, so we'll just move forward then.
Oh, I wasn't sure what you were talking. What you wanted to
No,
share.
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, yeah, go on.
Yeah, so you were talking about jackets,
Hmm.
and basically, turning the holiday items into cold weather items. So I'm sure a lot of people, they were looking for gifts for family, friends, and they were looking at jackets. Sometimes your SEO keywords says, gifts or Christmas gifts, and now it's time to shift everything to winter items, winter jackets, boots, and anything winter related. I think would sell at this point.
Yeah. And then Girly Girl Style Hubs, Bill makes a really good point. He said selling biking shorts. It seems a ton of people got Peloton bikes for Christmas. I totally did see a ton of people are getting Peloton bikes for Christmas. Forgot to mention that. Thanks for bringing it up, Bill. Yes, January is a big season where everyone's working out. Even us, we bought a treadmill. So we're waiting for that to be delivered. And I got some weights, so that's like the time where everyone's like, okay, let's plan on this work routine, right? Yoga, weights. Oh, there we go. Michelle has it. Gym clothes, right? Tank tops, yoga pants. Um, and
Yeah.
then Michelle, do you want to share what else you got there on the picture?
Yeah, I mean, just anything yoga, Pilates, weights, anything gym related, especially the new year. The new year plus the pandemic equals stay at home and work out. So anything that you could source that is exercise related would probably do well in Q1.
100%, yes.
And a lot of people are actually converting their home into a gym. I have a
Uh-huh.
client who just built a gym in his garage, and I think a lot of people are doing that because all the gyms are closed.
100%. Yeah. Forgot to mention, yes, boots. It's still cold, but running shoes.
Hmm.
People go running during this time, and depending where you live, it may be snowing where you live. But remember, there's a lot of people in California, and we don't have snow here, and people can go out and run and exercise outside. It's a little chilly, but people will still be doing that. So you can also look into sourcing running shoes or sports shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like this point that Rich made. He said, that's why we're heading back to the Roaring Twenties when we're talking about how, people have time to be more creative and crafty at home. And so Bill says we'll be in this mess for a while longer. So it figures, yeah, people are having that time to be crafty, spend time with each other and themselves and figuring out like what they like, reading. It's kind of amazing. And Duncan said, I have been home 8 months. No need to go anywhere. That's great.
Mhm.
We're very fortunate that we don't need to go anywhere, actually.
Yeah.
All right, Michelle?
Yeah, so the next item would be, Valentine's gifts. What Valentine's Day is coming up. You can always change your keywords to Valentine's Day gifts. We've actually sold quite a few Valentine's Day cards this past week. So, anything Valentine's Day related would probably do well, especially if people are staying home. So, just it's all about marketing.
Yeah, Valentine's Day is February 14th. So any leftover red colored items, like people always look for red clothes during Christmas, right? And often, so people can find those things, we put Christmas sweater or something. Um, Christmas blazer. Well, you can change all your Christmas words to Valentine's Day. And let's not leave out New Year. Chinese New Year is also in February. It's also a big holiday. There are a lot of Chinese people on this planet that celebrate it. And red is also a very big color, right, Michelle? For
Mhm.
Chinese celebrating Chinese New Year. And that's usually also in like January, February.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's another big one to keep an eye out for. And so typically Chinese New Year is like kind of like the Western holidays, Christmas. It's the biggest holiday of the year. A lot of families, I believe, get like 8 days, like 2 weeks off from work, 10 days off from work. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. And I think the last item would be video games. I think Marina mentioned that. Um, I was chatting with Robin's. I think that's her. What's her Instagram name? Robin Sells.
I'm
Um,
really not sure of the name, but we have a
okay.
friend on Instagram, right?
Yeah, she mentioned she bought a Xbox from like a pawn shop or something. I don't remember from where, and her kids have been glued to it, and she's really happy. So there are a lot of things that people are trying to get, and video games one of them to keep their kids busy for a long time.
True. Yeah, I mean, that makes so much sense. How ingenious is that? Especially if you're a working parent with your kids at home and it can get a little crazy. It's that time when parents are like, "Here, take the iPad, take the video game. Just need a little quiet, right? So I could be productive for a few
Mhm.
hours." That's great. Thanks for sharing that, Michelle.
So we're not
Yes,
just talking about consoles; we're also talking about games, right? So if you go
exactly.
sourcing, I'm sure there are a lot of games hanging out to for you to grab. So
100%. Video games, yes. And again, don't think like, "Oh, this is an old game." A lot of people are into that. It's
yeah.
really hot and popular. That's one reason we love selling vintage electronics, but vintage games are a big thing as well. And don't neglect VHS and DVDs either, because not all of them are on Netflix. Not all of them have a license. Not all of them allow Netflix to show their video, and those are going to be worth more money. So always look it up. Always check comps on eBay. Cannot like overestimate that amount enough to do that.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. Yeah, so that's kind of a little preview, and we wish you guys like a wonderful new year this year, 2021. And here's to new goals, and here's to smashing all our goals. Let's support each other and do it together. We have big goals. We definitely want to grow more than we did last year. I think our profits, what were they? About 35,000? It's about 35,000 or so.
Minus the
Um,
other store. Yes.
what is it?
Minus the second Etsy store.
Yeah. That's why I said about, because there's we don't include every single little profit that we make. We have a bunch of different things going on. So that's about 35,000. And the year before that it was about 25,000. So we grew a little bit, and we hope to grow this year, and we hope that you also grow this year. And yes, and thank you guys so much for joining us today. Today is Tuesday, and it looks like Michelle has words of motivation that she wants to read to you.
It's a New Year motivation quote. This quote is from Winston Churchill, and it says, "To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often." And I think, Marina, you would appreciate that.
That's a very, I don't know, Winston Churchill, he's a politician, right? A very, very respected and well-known politician from the past. I agree with the first part. To improve is to change. To be perfect is a change. I guess I could see that. To be perfect is to often. So you want to change. Okay, that was just deep. You want to shoot for changing often, right? I love that. That's a fantastic quote for the new year. Here's to changing often and not just when the new year comes, right?
It's true.
Let's try to change more often
Mhm.
than that. So we will see everyone on Thursday, where we will not be having a live on Wednesday tomorrow. We appreciate all of you for joining us this evening and making our live just pleasant. It's really nice to hear your ideas and to also publish them on our podcast where everyone else is also appreciating your ideas and participations. And we look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday live as well. Duncan said Churchill was a UK Prime Minister in World War II. That's
That's
right.
right.
Thank you for saying that. I guess it wasn't that long ago. It
And
seems like it was so long ago.
Maybe Duncan has a stamp with Churchill on it. That's why he knows. I don't know.
Maybe he does have a stamp with Churchill on it.
Mhm.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks again, everyone, for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. And we look forward to Thursday. And Thursday, we will be interviewing a reseller on that day. So look forward to that. We will update you with who that is on our Instagram account. So be sure to check it out, Flipping Gals on Instagram. And we will see everyone then. Have a wonderful rest of your day and or night.
Great night and great day, Duncan. Bye.
Bye-bye.